the Credit Crusader was just gonna swoop in and fix your miserable little lives? You really are as gullible as I thought. This channel is my channel. The city you tried to protect is my city now. The Credit Crusader's gone, and you're all still standing around like helpless tools waiting for someone to save you from the mess you made. Well, newsflash, he's not coming back. His Crusader cave, I destroyed it, reduced it to rubble, just like your delusions of financial freedom. And let's be honest, most of you don't even deserve saving, do you? You sit there swiping your precious credit cards, buying things you can't afford, living in a fantasy where everything magically works out. But here's the brutal truth. Credit isn't a solution, it's a trap. And you idiots walked right into it, thinking you were winning the system. It's laughable. You think you're so clever. You think you're using credit, but in reality it's using you. You're nothing but pawns in this system's game, and now you're too far gone to fix it. Keep pretending, keep believing in the lies, but when the debt becomes too much, when you're drowning in bills with no way out, remember one thing. I warned you, but you were too stupid to listen. Credit doesn't make you free. It makes you a slave to the system. And if you're too dumb to see that, then you'll be left with one final word. Deny!
Oh, hey guys, how's it going? Looks like you found me. Welcome to my humble commode. As you guys know, my channel's pretty much gone to shit. Dr. Denied has taken over the city, blown up my Crusader cave. I mean, it is my fault. I've neglected this channel. It's just one of those things. I kind of got sidetracked. I went and started a new channel and I finally got that monetized, but I've neglected this one. And now looking at things, the algorithm's punishing me. I'm pretty sure this channel, if I were to even attempt to rebuild it, it would take a really long time. I pretty much would have to start from scratch. So, I mean, I don't know if that's something I would be interested in doing.
Crusader, we need to talk.
Oh my God, Credit Militia? I can't believe it's really you. I mean, you've been a huge inspiration to me, man. I swear, back in the day with wholesale trade lines, I mean, dude, when you made your videos, that was badass. I mean, I know you kind of had a little back and forth, you know, you were kind of clowning on me for wearing a mask and all that kind of stuff, and then I made some videos of you. I mean, I hope you're not still sore about
Still
that.
sore? You plastered my face on some digital crap and sold it without even asking me. You think that's just gonna slide?
Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't think you'd be that upset over it. I was just trying to have some fun with the channel, make it interesting, you know? Trying to be a little different.
Fun? People don't want fun. They want help. They want answers. But instead of giving them that, you gave them a costume and a show. And now look at you sitting in a trailer because Dr. Denied took over the city and blew up your cave. What's the plan now?
You want to know the plan? The plan is I don't have a plan. The Crusader is clearly fallen by the wayside.
You did. But that's the thing about falling down. You get back up, Crusader. You inspired people once, and for some crazy reason, they still want you around. So get off your ass, stop with the gimmicks, and start making a difference again.
Credit Militia, you want to know something? You're absolutely right. Today's the day I start making videos again and start giving the people the content that they're used to getting from the Crusader.
Oh, and one more thing. If I ever catch you putting my face on an NFT again, I'll make an NFT of my own. It will be an animation of me taking that mask and shoving it up your ass.
All right, man, I get it. No more NFTs. So now it's time for the content. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about authorized user trade line secrets in 2024. Now, I know it's been a while since I've made a video. I haven't really been active on this channel, but that doesn't mean I don't still get people emailing me, messaging me, asking me questions. And one of the biggest questions I get is, do authorized user trade lines still work in 2024? I'm going to make this real short and sweet of an answer. Yes, they do. Have things changed? since, what is it, 2018 to now, in regards to authorized user trade lines, yes, some things have changed. Some of the banks like Synchrony, they're way harder to get to post. They used to be real easy. Banks like Navy Federal, they've limited the amount of authorized users you can have in 1 year. I believe it's 4 in 1 year. Some banks have loosened the standards and let you add and remove a lot more, whereas others, they're really quick to shut you down. So things have changed, but overall, do they still work in 2024? Yes, they do. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. People make a lot of videos to try to get people to get scared and say they don't work. No, they still work. Trust me. Another question I get all the time is, why can't I use a credit card when I go to buy an authorized user trade line? If you go to places like Tradeline Supply, Tradeline Vault, none of them take credit cards. What's the deal? Is it a scam? No, it's not a scam. Trade lines are a product that is very different. It's unlike anything else, really. And credit card processors don't like the idea of people selling authorized user trade lines. So in order to make it harder for people to have businesses, they make it so it's next to impossible to get credit card processing to process payments. So trade line companies got to go and use ulterior routes, whether it's Cash App, Bitcoin, Zelle, all that kind of stuff, because the credit card processing is very hard to get. The people who are in the credit industry know what I'm talking about. Another question I see all the time is, hey Crusader, I added an authorized user trade line to my credit report and it's only reporting to one bureau, or it's only reporting to 2 bureaus. Was I scammed? Did I get ripped off? What gives? I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a few reasons why your trade line isn't reporting to all 3. One of them could be that the actual trade line doesn't report to all 3. Banks like Wells Fargo only report to 2 bureaus. And if it's a bank that does report to all 3, like let's just say Citibank or Barclay, the reason it's not reporting has got something to do with your credit profile, 1000%. It's not the trade line. Because trade lines post on credit reports by matching up information. That's why if you add an authorized user to your credit report, the person that's adding it has got to know your name, your date of birth, your social security number, your address, phone number, all that kind of stuff, because it uses those data points in order to find it at the bureaus and add it to your credit report. Well, if you have a credit profiles at different credit bureaus and if the information is different, like let's just say your name's spelled differently, or you got a different address, or you've got something different on the different bureaus, then it won't link up. So you need to make sure that your credit profile is consistent on all 3, meaning that all your information matches up. And also that you don't have any credit freezes or holds on your credit profiles, because that's another reason that'll stop it from posting. But the one thing you need to know 1000% is if you get a trade line and it's added and then it reports to 1 bureau, the trade line was added. It's something on your end that needs to be corrected. The trade line company or the person that added you as an authorized user, they can't do anything to fix that. So that's something that you would need to correct. That's a problem on your end. Another question I get asked a lot, which I can't believe, is why can't trade line companies guarantee approval from a bank after you add the authorized user trade line? Well, I'll tell you right now, it's because trade lines are not a guarantee. They don't work like that. Trade lines are like having somebody like train you for a bodybuilding competition and get you in great shape. It doesn't mean you're going to win the competition. It's not up to the trade line company whether or not you're approved by another bank. All the trade line company can do is make you look better when you go to apply, so your chances of getting approved are higher. It does not mean that you're guaranteed to get approved. Sometimes banks just aren't lending, or sometimes the trade line just isn't enough, or sometimes there's something on your credit report that's bad, like a missed payment or something, that the bank is like, okay, well, he's got this trade line, but he's got a missed payment, so no, nobody with missed payments. We're not giving anybody money with missed payments. So there's a lot of factors when it comes into it. That's why trade line companies can't guarantee that you're going to get approved. Also, if there's certain things out there that you just need to have better credit, higher credit scores. You need to have more history. Things like houses, things like high limit credit cards. The quick fix isn't going to cut it. It'll definitely increase your chances. It'll increase your odds, but it's not guaranteed. Sorry. Another thing I see a lot of people getting confused with is people ask me, hey, Crusader, when I buy an authorized user trade line, how come it doesn't report that day? Why doesn't it report right away? Why do I have to wait? I'm going to tell you right now. It's because trade lines only report, well, most of them only report once a month. They have what is called a posting date or a closing date. And it basically takes all the activity from 1 month and then takes all that information and puts it to the credit bureau. It doesn't do it every day. And just so you guys know, every time the bank submits credit information to the credit bureaus, that costs them money. And when they got to submit thousands and thousands, if not millions of accounts, that starts to add up. So that's why they only do it once a month. And that's why the closing date of the trade line is so important. Because if you buy a trade line that's closing in a month, then it's going to take a month for it to report. But if you buy a trade line that's closing really soon, like in the next 5 days, then you've only got to wait 5 days before it's reported. So it's very important for you guys to look at the closing date to know around the time when your trade line is going to start showing up on the credit profile. Another thing you guys need to know is just because it's not on your credit profile right away, that doesn't mean it didn't post. A lot of these credit monitoring services, they take time. They need to pull your report and update. So that can make things take a little longer. Just rest assured, if you're buying from a reputable company, you're not going to get screwed, and the trade line's going to show up or you're going to get your money back. Another thing that people are asking me is, hey Crusader, I bought a trade line, it posted, but why isn't my score going up? Well, I'm going to let you know that right now. Trade lines are something that you need to kind of know what you're doing. If you add a trade line to, let's just say, a credit report that's got a bunch of missed payments, that's really not going to raise the score that much because those missed payments are going to be keeping that score down. That's not something that trade lines are really going to be able to help with. They'll be able to help a little bit, but not enough to really make a huge difference. Trade lines are good for credit profiles that have limited to no history. Adding history, that's going to make your score shoot up fast as all get out. Or adding, like just say you have a credit report that's got a bunch of debt and you add a bunch of open credit trade lines, a bunch of high limit open credit trade lines, that's going to offset that debt. So the percentage will go down, meaning your score will go up. That's some of the stuff that trade lines are the best at doing, is adding age and increasing limits and getting your debt ratio down by adding open credit. Those are like the 3 things that trade lines are just phenomenal at, still to this day in 2024. Another question I get asked all the time is, hey Crusader, how come these trade lines are so expensive when I go to buy them from Tradeline Supply or Tradeline Vault? How come they cost so much? I'm going to tell you the answer to that question right now. It's because what an authorized user trade line is you getting added as an authorized user to someone else's credit card account. And the banks, they only let you do that so many times. So there is a limit. The supply of trade lines keeps going down when they get shut down, when people run up their cards, they can't sell them anymore. So it makes the supply of the particular good go down, which does what? Makes the price go up. Trade lines have a life expectancy. If you keep buying, if you keep selling, adding people and removing them, your card is going to get shut down eventually. Some banks are worse than others. But having all those risks involved make it so people are reluctant to add someone without getting compensated for it. It's just the way market forces work. Now, here's a trick. If you get your friend or relative or somebody who's got a credit card account that's got a good payment history, perfect payment history, that's got low utilization, and it's from a bank that actually reports, because not all of them do, most do, but not all of them do, you could essentially just have them add you as an authorized user and you could get an authorized user account for free. It's just the only problem is, like I've said before, there aren't a lot of people out there that have that and that are willing to do that. That's why these markets have emerged where people are selling them. Now, here's another thing I get asked, which I can't believe. It honestly, I can't believe that people ask me this. They'll be like, hey, Crusader, I bought the trade line, but the company, they're not giving me access to the limit. It's like, yeah, stupid. No, you're not going to get access to $10,000 by buying some $500 trade line. You know, does that make sense when you really think about it? Authorized user trade lines put things on your credit report. No, you don't get access to the credit limit. I can't believe people ask that, but there, I'm answering the question for those of you that are a little confused. So in closing, I'm going to go ahead and answer a question that I also get asked, and that's, where's a great place to get trade lines? In my mind, there are 3 places that you can get trade lines that are reputable, that you'll be all right, and you won't get ripped off. First is just getting a relative to add you as an authorized user. If you have that option, if you can get a friend, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever, add you as an authorized user, that is probably the cheapest and that is the easiest way to get it done. You just got to go ahead and find that. If you don't have that, if you don't know anybody or don't know anybody willing to do that for you, now you got to go the route of actually buying them. And there's two places. The first one is Tradeline Supply, which they seem to be the biggest game in town now after wholesale trade lines went away. They seem to be the biggest game in town. The only problem with them is that they're hard to work with. You've got to send in documents. They only accept a bank wire transfer. They're not as easy to work with. Whereas Tradeline Vault, they're easy to work with. You can text Jasmine. They have a bunch of payment options. It's easier to work with them. That's why I always suggest going with Tradeline Vault. I mean, if they don't have what you're looking for and you need another option, then you always check out Tradeline Supply. Just in my experience, Tradeline Vault has been easy to work with. I know they're solid. They've been around for years, and they've never let me down. So there you have it. The Crusader's finally back, and I can't wait to make my next video. And I'm not going to make you guys wait long. Don't worry. So, as always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Crusader out.
For hundreds of more information-packed videos, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And if you're looking to take your knowledge to the next level, explore my workshops at thecrusadercave.com. I offer entertainment workshops on CPNs, public records, how to get cars, apartments. Hell, I've even got a workshop that shows you how to reassign zombie debt, and so much more. So don't forget to check out thecrusadercave.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Crusader out.